Yeah, I just came here to do want to teach me about chess or something, man. I don't know. You late, man. Alright, man. Alright, I'm gonna hit you up. Alright, 5. It's 5:10. I know, man. I was just doing some other stuff, man. I'm here though. You got the king bracelet on, huh? I'm gonna teach you something about that. Oh yeah. You know, you like that?
The object of the game is to attack the king. So, society attacks our kings through the movies and the music to confuse and delude us. Have our kings wanting to be queens, stealing our crowns and giving us whips and chains. Do that sound familiar? Putting our families in the projects and taking away the fathers. So now the government is the head of the family, providing for them with welfare and food stamps to keep them dependent on the system. They force the fathers out and then make them look bad for leaving. Attack the king is calculated, strategic, chess. Now what's the best defense for that type of move? Knight F6. Be smart, king, cause now you know they out to get you. Balance intelligence and defense with aggression, because too much aggression will cause you to retreat from the very thing you are pursuing. Use wisdom. Your attack came too soon. Like a virgin on his honeymoon. Let your opponent show his hand before you send out your army. Let your pawns draw his soldiers out like an artist, because the king knows that the pawns are sacrificed for the greater good. But the next question is, which piece are you, pawn or king? But in a pawn's heart, all he wants to do is be king. But kings get murdered on balconies and wear crowns of thorns. Can you even handle that kind of pressure? If you put a crown on a pawn, the weight from the gold will crush him. Bishop G6. The enemy sends his horses to contend against men, but a king is not saved by the strength of his army. He's saved by the hand of his God. King's bishop F7. The bishop is crafty. There is a thin line between best friend and worst enemy, and you never know if your queen is just after your power like Delilah. Let me paint the picture. King, you got your queen on one side, your best friend on the other. Keep the two that mean the most, the closest to you, but beware. Cause Jezebel took advantage of what her king didn't have, a backbone. King, learn to stand on your own too before you try to handle a queen. And thank God you got that bishop, your right hand man. But Scarface and Nino Brown both killed their best friend, so you never know if your bishop is just out to steal your juice, or if you are the bishop that will be sacrificed by the king because his queen doesn't like you. It's amazing how lifelong friends can quickly get the axe, because in ultimatums between girlfriends and best friends, the best friend never wins, especially if the friendship is platonic. I am convinced that Eve didn't really deceive Adam. He knew what she was doing. But in that moment, he just loved his woman more intensely than his God. And that's why the queen is powerful, because she controls the heart of the king, moving swiftly across the squares just to find the right mate. But checkmate doesn't always require the use of a queen. But she does make life easier. Queen H5. Lesson: if you flaunt your queen without confidence, she just might be taken by a king that sees her as more than just a trophy, or trapped by a rook who really is a veteran, who wants to show your queen that he is the better man. And most men's kingdoms fall apart when their women leaves, like Autumn. So watch this pawn move to G4 and corner your queen, and he really likes her. But it's really not a problem until she likes him too. King, how confident are you that your woman is satisfied at home? One slip and the devil tightens his grip on the weakness of your relationship. You have become too comfortable. Plus, you are out of alignment with God, so now it makes sense why your house is out of order and you don't even keep yourself up anymore. But you want her to have her hair done, her nails done, and wear the same thing she did before she had the kids. But when was the last time you even seen a gym or exercised something other than your opinion of her appearance, complaining about how she needs to keep your attention when the only time you give her attention is when it leads to sex? Now, is that fair? And I know what you've been thinking. Y'all been married for a few years, got a couple kids. You know she ain't going nowhere, right? But this is chess. Wrong move. Knight F7. They coming for your queen. You better smarten up and realize her value, because you don't want to lose her to some loser who thinks he's a king. Queen 1D. King. Although you love the way she moves, sashaying across you in form-fitting attire with so much power, but this is much more than a sexual attraction. Even though this is a sexual attraction, because there is nothing more enticing than a woman with authority, but beware, because there is a thin line between Esther and Jezebel, queen. Her mother refined her to an independent woman, and that's cool. But when that independent woman reaches her limit, she realizes how much she needs her king, so she pursues her king by all means necessary. But impatience usually brings you King Saul instead of David. And most independent women, when they remain single, turn into jealous side chicks that regret chasing a career and rejecting a family. In the process, chess is not for the weak-hearted. Bishop F6, you lose close people in your life. Sometimes it's strategic, but sometimes you gotta sacrifice a good night just to stay right with God. Where your heart at, king? Attack or retreat? Make a decision. A king without vision is a terrible thing to witness. But listen, in the game of life, in the game of chess, if you are white, your chances of success are that much better because you get to make the first move. But if you are black, you need to work on defense and counterattacks. But there is a certain hunger that possesses a king to go against all odds and rise to the top after starting from the bottom. It's prophetic that this game is in black and white, but this is not just chess. This is life. This is not just life. This is chess. Yes, the queen is the most powerful piece, but once the king is captured, the game is over. Now you tell me what that means.